As the first rays of dawn touched the vast expanse of the Eastern Front on June 22, 1941, an earth-shattering roar broke the morning silence. 3 million Axis troops, accompanied by 600,000 vehicles and 3,500 tanks, surged across the Soviet border. This was Operation Barbarossa, Hitler's most ambitious gamble and the largest military invasion in history. The fate of nations hung in the balance as German forces raced eastward, their eyes set on Moscow. At precisely 3:15 a.m., the German onslaught began. The Luftwaffe, Germany's formidable air force, launched a devastating aerial assault on Soviet airfields. Within hours, thousands of Soviet aircraft lay in smoldering ruins, many destroyed before they could even leave the ground. The Wehrmacht's elite panzer divisions, spearheading the attack, smashed through the Soviet defenses with terrifying speed, executing Hitler's vision of blitzkrieg, a war of rapid movement and overwhelming force. From the Baltic to the Black Sea, 3 massive German army groups, Army Group North, led by Field Marshal Wilhelm von Lieb, raced toward Leningrad. Army Group Center, under the command of Field Marshal Fedor von Bock, had one primary goal: Moscow. Meanwhile, Army Group South, commanded by Field Marshal Gerd von Rundstedt, aimed for Ukraine's rich farmlands and industrial centers. The Soviet defenders were caught completely off guard. Stalin, despite multiple intelligence warnings, had refused to believe that Hitler would break the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. As a result, the Red Army was unprepared, its defenses scattered, and its troops disoriented. Entire Soviet units were encircled and annihilated before they could mount a proper defense. In the chaos, some Soviet forces fought back with desperate resilience. One of the most legendary stands occurred at Brest Fortress, where Soviet troops, cut off and outgunned, refused to surrender. For days they held their ground against overwhelming German firepower, their walls blackened by relentless artillery barrages. Even as food and ammunition ran out, the defenders continued to resist. Their defiant graffiti, "I am dying but I will not surrender," etched into the walls, became a symbol of Soviet determination. Elsewhere, however, panic and disorganization spread through the ranks. Many Soviet commanders, fearful of Stalin's wrath, hesitated to act without direct orders from Moscow. Communication lines were severed and supply routes collapsed under the sheer speed of the German advance. Entire Soviet divisions were encircled in vast Kesselschlacht, or cauldron battles, where they were systematically destroyed. In the early days of the invasion, panic and disorganization reigned supreme. Soviet forces were caught off guard, and the speed of the German advance left little time for a coordinated defense. Command structures crumbled, and chaos spread among the ranks. By the end of the first week, the Germans had advanced over 300 miles into Soviet territory, capturing hundreds of thousands of prisoners. Cities fell in rapid succession: Minsk, Bialystok, and Smolensk, while German victory seemed inevitable. But deep within the Soviet Union, an ominous force was awakening, one that Hitler had underestimated: the sheer vastness of Russia, the resolve of its people, and the merciless grip of the approaching winter. The road to Moscow had been paved with fire and blood, but the war was far from over. This was only the beginning. To be continued in Part 2.